Hello all. This is a talk series on stories behind famous brands of India. We kickstart this with an iconic brand, Amul, and we chat with Dr. RS Sodhi to understand the secret sauce behind Amul's huge success. Welcome, Dr. Sodhi. It is very nice to have you here in our first series, which I think will be a great learning for the entire advertising and marketing industry. This obviously will be on purpose-driven brands, friends. My research shows that the world is undecided if a purpose-driven brand is at the core or sits atop the business hierarchy. And even some experts go to great lengths to say how you should build a purpose-driven brand and what you should do to build one. But here I find this purpose-driven brand is in existence for 75 years. Dr. Korean, Sardar Patel, Lal Bahadur Shastri, we know how you have had big names contribute to this legacy, Ms. Sodhi. But what I would like to understand is how you are ensuring that this legacy continues.
First of all, Shripad Kulkarni ji, thank you very much for giving this to talk about one of India's oldest, or I can say ageless brand, Amul. Amul brand has got two sides of coin. One side is how millions of Indian farmers perceive Amul a very sustainable, dependable source of livelihood by buying their produce twice in a day, every day, at a very, very sustainable and reasonable as well as a high price. And the other side of the coin is what consumer perceive that Amul means a very tasty product using best of the natural ingredients, but using latest production processing facilities to make it very, very nutritious and intact the shelf life without spoiling the nutrition of the product. People feel that this brand Amul, which is not owned by any big corporates and multinational, but owned by, I won't say illiterate, semi-illiterate. 80% people don't have any assets, no land, but still they own India's most valuable or biggest food or FMCG brand.
Amazing, I think, this whole thing of two stakeholders and simply keeping both happy as a secret sauce of a purpose-driven brand. You also mentioned this whole thing on the customer centricity. Now, can you tell us something more about this customer centricity? How the whole organization is so customer centric?
I'll tell you the two, the quote or the brand mantra which Dr. Varghese Kurian, our founder chairman, has given. He has taught if you want to make ageless brand, you have to think twice. First is always think customer is or consumer is smarter than you. Don't think you can fool customer with very flashy packaging, very, very good positioning statement, spending millions or billions of rupees on brand building on electronic or press media. You can claim very high, and that is why we said customer is smarter than you, because what we try to do is generally in marketing. Okay, you make a big pack, just little bit product, or you reduce the pack or reduce the content. Don't reduce the size, so people will feel full. Instead of 1 liter ghee, you pack 900 ml. In the same pack size, customer will not come to know and he'll buy. She may buy once, she may buy twice, but the next time, the day she finds that she has been cheated, she has not been delivered for purpose for which she has purchased, you lose your faith. You see that customer or consumer should have blind faith. See, loyalty is one thing. Faith is second thing. A blind faith is like the faith which you have got, your faith in religion. where you don't question why this, why I wear turban, why I should not cut my hair.
Yes.
Okay, you don't question because you have got blind faith. So that faith you have to generate in a brand, and that comes not by so-called the people watching of their most of the work.
Okay.
It is basic that he has got a very important part. I'll talk later on that. But it is the total experience about the brand. What brand delivers to them. Never try to exploit customer when she is in distress or he is in distress. Like COVID was there. I mean, food was in short supply. Products were untouchable. We could have very easily charged 10, 15, 20% margin or extra. No. Dr. Korean told when product is in short supply, this is the first time. When any product in short supply, never change the price. Because that is a time you will connect with the consumer. She is going to appreciate concern in your distress, and then she'll have blind faith in you. I think that is the mantra we are following for brands last 75 years. Not only exist, but also growing at a much faster pace than the previous decade. There may be brands which are on declining, but this brand, Amul, growth rate is much more than the previous decade. And that is also unique to the Amul brand. I mean, branding expert will have one soap for the top people, one soap for the middle class people working, and one soap for the lowest people. I mean, driver or worker or auto driver or daily a security guard. But Amul brand is such, whether you take butter or cheese, whether you are living in a Pedder Road big apartment or you are an auto driver, both of them think Amul is high brand, Amul is a premium brand.
Absolutely. So what you have said is the purpose, the complete genuineness, the absolute truthfulness and understanding the customers, especially during tough times like COVID, is the real secret behind how you can build a purpose-driven brand. One other thing that has struck me is that Amul has not just survived the different times and multiple socioeconomic strata, but a 75-year-old brand is still very young. Now, how has this been managed?
Well, I think for any brand, especially in the food segment, you can remain young or only or contemporary if you are able to meet the expectation of the current generation. Ice creams are there, beverages are there, new varieties of cheese are there. So you can't say that I'm 74 years old, I'll continue to sell the same products which have been done. Whether it's the packaging is there, our Amul, famous Amul topical campaign, Butter Girl.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's more than now around 60 years. And that is what is keeping our brand young or contemporary. Because the type of comments she is using on anything happening in India or abroad, Hollywood, Bollywood, sports, and anybody, she does not spare anybody, she does not favor anybody, and she is not afraid of anybody. And that is we are able to and connect. If I go anywhere, in any party or anywhere, if I say I'm from Amul, the first reaction comes, Sodhi ji, aapke aur Amul butter topical campaign superb hai. You give me one example when brand recall is on campaign, first brand recall, not on the product. I tell you Sony, Maruti, Dove, what comes to mind? Product first and then campaign. Purpose is, like I mentioned at the beginning, providing livelihood to the millions of the farmers who are dependent on this brand.
True. In fact, one other big thing which is the hallmark of Amul is innovation. Now, you have used innovation in business, used it to deliver value to customers largely. So how do you really manage innovation?
all this is innovations are not bottom line centric. Please,
Yes.
these innovations are either for the consumers or for farmers, or I can use supplier. So you won't find. So that is why these innovations are appreciated, because benefit is going to others, not to your company.
Now, coming to how you have excelled in marketing, whether it is the well-crafted and balanced mother brand strategy and linked to it your huge portfolio of sub-brands, there are easily more than 100 sub-brands. And this whole big idea of creating a film, a commercial film, Manthan, which depicts your core of the cooperative movement. And of course, the marquee topicals, which is still going on for a long time. How is this whole thing getting synchronized?
I think in what word I have had to say or answer it, it's consistency.
Okay.
Consistency in your communication message, because like utterly delicious is more than 60 years old.
Yes.
Or Amul Taste of India is around 30 years old. Or Amul Doodh Peeta India is 20 years old. Our advertising agencies are there right from day one. I mean,
yes.
recognized for last 60 years.
Yes.
FCB Ulka Draft is now with us more than 30 years. And the same people are there.
True.
And more or less same people this side of the table. Appreciating and trusting the professionals for which they have been hired. So advertising agencies have been hired, or you are taking their services because they have got creativity, which you don't have. So campaign like topical campaign, which we are giving, I mean, they make it and they put it on various media. They don't need our approval. We see it when you see it. And that is
amazing.
Why it is topical. Dr. Varghese Puri used to tell us, whether you hire advertising agency or you hire architects or anything, you give your brief, whatever, but ultimately leave to them, they'll do justice to your brand. And I think when you give freedom to these people, I'm telling you, you get best out of them.
Yes.
You best out, because they feel they own it. They
Yes.
feel responsible. That is a.
I am not aware of any other client in this kind of a situation where anything goes without the client's express approval. Just brilliant. I have one last question for you, Mr. Sodhi. If there were one thing that you want to talk to your customers, especially the youth of India, what would you tell them? Is there some message like to give them?
I think the one way which we want to tell, especially to today's generation of whether entrepreneurs or startups or the farmers leader or the policy maker, is that the basic model of cooperatives. See, we have proved, or Atmanirbharta. First is, Amul has proved that you can really become Atmanirbhar in anything if you really decide. And we have done it more than 50 years back in milk, and we were deficit. Like Sri Lanka is struggling, or Bangladesh, we were also like that. Second is, India, if has to grow, and we want to be number one GDP or economy of the world, Bharat has to grow. When I say Bharat, means small people, whether rural or urban. India is a country of small people, small farmers, small artisan, small restaurant fellow, small taxi fellow,
Yes.
small maid servant, small security fellow.
Yes.
You have to see how to aggregate the resources, product or services in a business-like model, which is cooperative. And then by using the modern marketing and branding, market it so that one side, this service provider, product provider, small people feel they're happy. Other side, the fellow who is buying your service or product, he feels he has really delivered whatever money has been paid. So I think this model tells not only milk, India can become number one anything if we follow cooperative model. And that is why, you see, Government of India recently formed a cooperative ministry. Let me tell you, it's not for more regulation. It gives they realize that if India has to grow, Bharat has to grow. And if Bharat has to grow, cooperative model is the best way of doing business.
Just brilliant. We have looked at, while studying your case study, is how to go about building a purpose-driven brand. We have looked at innovation, the entire customer centricity, how you have to excel in marketing, and how you can get the most out of your vendors, and how to be relevant across ages, across segments, across socioeconomic segments. And what's more, as a bonus, Mrs. Sodhi, you have given India's youth a very big start-off idea for these youngsters, how they can be Atmanirbhar using cooperative model. An amazing idea. Thank you so much, Mrs. Sodhi. It was really, really very nice.
Thank you, Shripad Kulkarni. Thank you very much for this, given this opportunity to share our ideas. Thank you very much.